The phone rang at 2:47 p.m. I'll never forget that exact time because I was staring at the break room clock, waiting for my coffee to finish brewing. Tuesday afternoons at the dental office were usually quiet, just how I liked them. The coffee maker gurgled its final drops as I reached for my phone, expecting maybe a reminder about Melody's violin recital next week, or Craig asking what I wanted for dinner. "Mrs. Vera Thompson?" The voice was professional, but strained, like someone trying to stay calm during chaos. "Yes, this is Vera. This is St. Mary's Hospital. Your daughter Melody has been admitted. She's currently in surgery." The coffee mug slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor. Hot coffee splashed across my scrubs and the white tiles, but I didn't feel it. "Surgery? What happened? Is she okay?" "She suffered a fall down the stairs at your home. The paramedics brought her in about an hour ago. She has multiple injuries, including a broken arm and internal bruising. The surgery is to address internal bleeding and to set her arm properly." My legs went weak. I gripped the counter to keep from falling. "Internal bleeding? How bad is it?" "The doctors are taking care of her right now, Mrs. Thompson. You should come as soon as possible." I don't remember grabbing my purse or telling my coworker Jackie that I had to leave. I don't remember the drive to the hospital, though I must have broken every speed limit getting there. All I could think about was Melody that morning, claiming she had a stomachache, probably just trying to avoid her chemistry test. She'd been wearing her favorite purple pajamas, the ones with little music notes on them. Her hair was messy from sleep, and she'd smiled when I kissed her forehead to check for fever. "I'll be fine, Mom," she'd said. Dad said he might check on me during lunch if he's between showings. Craig had been so thoughtful lately, especially with how much he'd been helping my best friend Amber through her divorce. Just last week, he'd spent his entire Saturday helping her move furniture into her new apartment. "That's what family does," he'd said when I thanked him for being so supportive of my friend. The hospital parking lot was a maze of confusion. I abandoned my car in what was probably an illegal spot and ran through the automatic doors. The smell hit me first, that distinctive hospital mixture of disinfectant and fear. The fluorescent lights were too bright, making everything look harsh and unforgiving. "My daughter, Melody Thompson, she was brought in. She's in surgery," I gasped at the reception desk. The woman typed something into her computer with agonizing slowness. "Thompson, yes, she's in surgery on the 3rd floor. Take the elevator to your left, then follow the blue line to surgical waiting." The elevator ride lasted forever. An elderly man with an IV pole smiled at me kindly, but I couldn't smile back. My mind was racing through every possible scenario. How does a 14-year-old fall down the stairs in the middle of the day? Melody wasn't clumsy. She was a dancer, a violinist, coordinated and careful. She'd grown up in that house, knew every creak in those stairs. The surgical waiting room was filled with worried faces, but I only cared about finding someone who could tell me about my daughter. A nurse in green scrubs approached me before I could reach the desk. "Mrs. Thompson? I'm Nurse Beatrice. I've been assigned to Melody's case." "How is she? Can I see her?" "She's still in surgery, but the doctors are optimistic. She's a strong girl. The surgery should be finished within the hour." "What exactly happened? How did she fall?" Nurse Beatrice's expression shifted slightly, something flickering in her eyes that made my stomach drop. "The paramedics reported she was found at the bottom of your staircase. A neighbor called 911. "A neighbor? Why didn't my husband call? He was supposed to check on her." "I don't have that information, Mrs. Thompson. Perhaps you could speak with the police when they arrive." "The police? Why would the police be coming?" "It's standard procedure with injuries like this involving minors. They just need to file a report." But something in her tone told me it wasn't standard at all. Something was wrong, terribly wrong, and everyone knew it but me. I sank into a waiting room chair, my coffee-stained scrubs still damp against my skin, and waited for my world to completely shatter. I just didn't know yet that it already had, 14 steps at a time, while I was watching a break room clock and waiting for coffee to brew. Life had been picture perfect, or so I thought. Craig and I had been married for 16 years, and from the outside, we were the couple everyone envied. We lived in a beautiful 2-story colonial in suburban Phoenix, complete with the white fence and the carefully maintained rose garden that Craig tended every Sunday morning. He was successful in real estate. I had a stable job at the dental practice, and we had Melody, our brilliant, beautiful daughter, who made everything worthwhile. That Tuesday morning had started like hundreds of others. Craig was already dressed when I woke up at 6, standing in front of our bedroom mirror adjusting his tie. He wore the navy suit I'd picked out for his birthday, the one that made his green eyes stand out. "Big showing today," he said, catching my reflection in the mirror. "That tech executive from California is finally ready to make an offer on the Willow Creek property." "That's wonderful, honey," I said, getting out of bed and wrapping my arms around him from behind. He smelled like his cologne, the expensive one I bought him every Christmas, mixed with the mint of his toothpaste. "Melody's not feeling well," he said, turning to kiss my forehead. "I checked on her earlier. She says her stomach hurts." "Chemistry test today," I said, rolling my eyes. "Third time this month she's had a mysterious illness on test day." Craig chuckled, that warm sound that had made me fall in love with him all those years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue. "I'll swing by around lunch to check on her, make sure she's actually resting and not binge-watching Netflix." "You're too good to us," I said, meaning it completely. Downstairs, Craig had already made coffee and left my favorite mug out with a sticky note. "Have a great day, beautiful. Love you." These were the little things that made our marriage work, I thought. 16 years, and he still left me notes. My best friend Amber had been a constant presence in our home lately. 6 months ago, her husband Derek had blindsided her with divorce papers and a 23-year-old girlfriend. Amber was devastated, and Craig and I had rallied around her like family. She'd lost weight, her usually perfect blonde hair often pulled back in messy buns, her designer clothes replaced with sweats and old t-shirts, but she was starting to come back to life, largely thanks to Craig's kindness. "Your husband is a saint," Amber had told me just last Friday over wine. We were sitting on my back patio while Craig was inside, cooking dinner for all of us. "Derek never would have helped my friends like this. Craig spent his whole lunch break yesterday helping me understand my divorce settlement paperwork. He's always been good with legal documents from his real estate work," I'd replied, feeling proud of my husband's generosity. "You really lucked out, Vera. Men like him don't exist anymore." I'd watched through the kitchen window as Craig flipped steaks on the grill, whistling some old rock song, completely at ease in his role as supporter and friend. Amber watched him too, and I remembered thinking how sad she looked, probably remembering when Derek used to cook for her. That Tuesday morning before I left for work, I checked on Melody. She was curled up in her purple pajamas, the ones with music notes that she claimed she was too old for but still wore anyway. Her room was its typical organized chaos, violin case propped against her desk, homework scattered across her chair, pictures of her and her friends covering every inch of her bulletin board. "How are you feeling, baby?" I asked, sitting on the edge of her bed and feeling her forehead. "Terrible," she croaked dramatically. "I think I'm dying." Funny how death always coincides with chemistry tests. She cracked one eye open and gave me a guilty smile. "Maybe it'll pass by tomorrow?" "Your dad's going to check on you at lunch, and I want you to actually rest, not practice violin or reorganize your closet like last time." "I promise, Mom. Just sleep and maybe some soup later." I kissed her forehead, inhaling that strawberry scent from her shampoo. "I love you, Mel." "Love you too, Mom." As I drove to work that morning, I remembered thinking how lucky I was. Sure, we had our problems like any family. Craig had been working longer hours lately, and I'd been picking up extra shifts to save for Melody's college fund. But we were solid. We were happy. We had Sunday dinners and family movie nights and inside jokes that made us laugh until our stomachs hurt. I had absolutely no idea that while I was cleaning teeth and discussing proper flossing techniques with patients, my perfect life was about to shatter into pieces that could never be put back together the same way again. The hospital corridor stretched endlessly as I ran toward the surgery wing, my footsteps echoing off the polished floors. Other visitors stepped aside as I rushed past, probably recognizing the wild look of a terrified parent. The signs blurred together until Nurse Beatrice intercepted me near the surgical unit doors, her hand gentle but firm on my arm. "Mrs. Thompson, let's step over here," she said, guiding me to a small consultation room. "Melody is stable. The surgery is going well. They're repairing her broken arm and addressing some internal bruising from the fall." "How long was she lying there before someone found her?" My voice sounded strange, detached, like it belonged to someone else. Your neighbor, Mrs. Chen, heard screaming around 1:50 p.m. She called 911 immediately. The paramedics arrived within 8 minutes. Where was Craig? He was supposed to be there at lunch. He said he would check on her. Nurse Beatrice consulted her clipboard. I don't have information about other family members at the scene. Mrs. Chen was the only one present when paramedics arrived. 2 hours passed before they finally let me see her. When I walked into that recovery room, my knees nearly buckled. Melody's face was swollen beyond recognition, her left eye purple and nearly shut. Her arm was in a cast, and monitors beeped steadily around her. She looked so small in that hospital bed, nothing like the vibrant teenager who'd been feigning illness just this morning. Her good eye fluttered open when she heard me approach. "Mom?" Her voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." I took her uninjured hand carefully, afraid to hurt her more. She gripped my fingers with surprising strength. "Mom, I need to tell you something. Please don't be mad at me, please." "Sweetheart, I could never be mad at you. You fell down the stairs. It was an accident." "No." The word came out sharp, desperate. She struggled to sit up, wincing at the movement. "It wasn't an accident. Mom, listen to me. Dad pushed me." The room seemed to tilt. "What are you talking about? You must be confused from the medication." "I'm not confused." Her voice cracked with urgency. "I came downstairs because I heard weird noises. I thought someone had broken in. The TV was loud, but there were other sounds, like furniture moving." I stroked her hand, trying to calm her. "Take your time, baby. When I got to the living room, Dad was there, with Aunt Amber." She started crying, her whole body shaking. "They were on our couch, Mom. They didn't have clothes on. They were having sex." The words hit me like physical blows. I felt myself sinking into the chair beside her bed. "No, that's not possible. You must have misunderstood what you saw." "I saw them, Mom. Aunt Amber was on top of him, and they were both naked. The coffee table was pushed aside. Her red dress was on the floor with Dad's clothes. I stood there, frozen. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe." My mind raced, trying to find another explanation, any explanation. "Maybe you were dreaming or hallucinating from being sick." "Mom, stop." Melody's voice rose, causing a nurse to peek in. I waved her away. "I know what I saw. When Dad noticed me, he jumped up so fast that Amber fell onto the floor. He started yelling at me, saying I didn't see anything, that I was confused, that I was making things up." "Then what happened?" My voice sounded hollow. I ran toward the stairs to get back to my room, but Dad was faster. He caught me at the top, grabbed my arm so hard it hurt. "Look." She shifted slightly, revealing dark bruises on her upper arm, clearly finger marks. "He shook me, Mom. He said if I told anyone, especially you, he'd say I was lying. He said no one would believe a sick kid over him. He said he'd tell everyone I was jealous of Aunt Amber getting attention." "And then?" I tried to pull away. I just wanted to get to my room and lock the door. But when I yanked my arm back, he shoved me, hard, with both hands on my shoulders. I remember his face, Mom. He wasn't scared or surprised. He looked angry, like I was the one who'd done something wrong. "You fell down all 14 steps?" I remember hitting the railing halfway down. That's how my arm broke. Then my head hit the wall at the bottom. I could hear Amber screaming at him, asking what he'd done. Dad told her to get dressed, that they needed to leave before anyone found me. He said they'd say I tripped, that I was clumsy from being sick. My daughter's words painted a picture I couldn't bear to see, but couldn't look away from either. My husband, my partner of 16 years, had chosen his affair over our daughter's life. I sat in that hospital room for 10 minutes, holding my daughter while she cried. Her tears soaked through my coffee-stained scrubs, and I could feel her trembling against me. But as I held her, something changed inside me. The shock and disbelief transformed into something cold and determined, a mother's rage mixed with calculated precision. "Melody?" "Listen to me carefully," I said, pulling back to look directly into her good eye. "Did Mrs. Chen see Dad's car when she found you?" "I don't know, Mom. Everything hurt so bad. I just remember her voice calling my name and saying help was coming." I pulled out my phone. 2 text messages from Craig glared at me from the screen. The first sent at 2:15 p.m. in back-to-back showings all afternoon, phone on silent. The second, at 3:30 p.m., just heard about Melody's accident from Mrs. Chen. Finishing with clients, will come to hospital soon. Love you both. The casual lies made my stomach turn. He was constructing his alibi while our daughter was in surgery. I stood up, my decision made. Baby, I need to go home for just a little bit. I promise I'll be back soon. Mom, no! Melody grabbed my hand. Please don't confront him alone. He already hurt me. What if he hurts you, too? I'm not going to confront anyone. I'm going to get proof. I kissed her forehead gently. Nurse Beatrice will stay with you. If you need anything at all, you tell her to call me immediately. As I walked to my car, my mind was racing but focused. Last month, while Craig was at a real estate conference in Vegas, we'd had 3 break-ins in our neighborhood. Without telling him, I'd had a security system installed with cameras in the main living areas. The installation guy said they were top of the line, motion activated, with cloud storage that saved everything for 30 days. I'd meant to tell Craig when he got back, but life got busy and it slipped my mind. That forgotten conversation might have just saved my daughter's case. I called Mrs. Chen as I drove, putting her on speaker. Helen, it's Vera Thompson. Thank you for helping Melody. Oh, Vera, how is she? I've been so worried. It was terrifying finding her like that. She's going to be okay. Helen, I need to ask you something important. Did you see Craig's car when you found Melody? There was a pause. Yes, actually. I thought it was strange. His white Mercedes was pulling out of your driveway just as I ran outside. That woman's red Honda, the blonde who comes over sometimes, she was right behind him. They were driving fast, too fast for a residential street. Did you see them stop when Melody was screaming? No, and that's what bothered me. I could hear Melody crying for help, and they must have heard it too. But they just kept driving. I thought maybe they were going to meet the ambulance at the hospital. Thank you, Helen. You might have just helped save my daughter. I pulled into our street and saw both cars in the driveway. Craig's white Mercedes and Amber's red Honda, parked as casually as if this were any other Tuesday. The audacity of it made my hands shake with rage. My daughter was in surgery, and they were here, in my house, probably coordinating their stories. I parked across the street and pulled up the security app on my phone. My fingers trembled as I entered the password. The interface loaded, showing me live feeds from all 6 cameras. There they were, in the living room, Craig pacing while Amber sat on the couch, the same couch where my daughter had caught them. They were both fully dressed now, Craig in different clothes than this morning, Amber in jeans and a sweater instead of the red dress Melody had described. I navigated to the recorded footage, scrolling back to 1:10 p.m. The app showed motion detected at 1:15 p.m. I clicked play and watched my world crumble. In high definition, Craig opening the door for Amber, her immediately pressing against him, his hands running through her hair. They barely made it to the living room before clothes started coming off. I fast-forwarded, unable to watch the betrayal in detail. At 1:47 p.m., Melody appeared on the stairs, her face transforming from confusion to horror. At 1:48 p.m., Craig's chase up the stairs, the struggle clearly visible from the hallway camera. At 1:49 p.m., the push, brutal and deliberate, both his hands on her shoulders, sending her backward down 14 steps. I downloaded every second of footage to my phone, then backed it up to 2 different cloud services. My hands were steady now, my purpose clear. They thought they'd gotten away with it. They thought a 14-year-old's word would mean nothing against 2 adults. They didn't know about the cameras. They didn't know that their every crime had been recorded, time-stamped, and saved. I sat in my car for another 5 minutes, watching them through the living room window. Craig was pouring wine, my anniversary Malbec that we'd been saving for a special occasion. Amber was scrolling through her phone, occasionally showing him something that made them both laugh. The casual normalcy of it all made my fury burn white hot. While our daughter lay broken in a hospital bed, they were drinking wine and sharing jokes. I called 911 first, keeping my voice steady and clear. This is Vera Thompson at 442 Sycamore Drive. My husband pushed my 14-year-old daughter down the stairs approximately 3 hours ago. She's currently hospitalized with serious injuries. I have video evidence of the assault. He's in the house right now with his accomplice. Ma'am, did you say you have video evidence? Yes. Clear security footage showing him pushing her down the stairs after she caught him having an affair. He then fled the scene without calling for help. We're dispatching units immediately. Are you in any danger? No, I'm in my car across the street. They don't know I'm here. Next, I called Detective Ramon Valdez. I'd met him 6 months ago when he'd spoken at our neighborhood watch meeting about the break-ins. He'd given everyone his card, saying to call if we ever needed anything. Detective Valdez, this is Vera Thompson from Sycamore Drive. You might not remember me, but you spoke at our neighborhood meeting. I remember you, Mrs. Thompson. What's going on? My husband pushed our 14-year-old daughter down the stairs after she caught him with another woman. She's in the hospital with serious injuries. I have security camera footage of everything, including him fleeing the scene. He's in our house right now. I'm 10 minutes away. Don't go inside. Units are already en route. Can you send me that footage? I forwarded him the videos, all of them, including the timestamps from Mrs. Chen's 911 call showing Craig's car leaving while she was calling for help. Within minutes, 4 police. Cars arrived silently. No sirens or lights. Detective Valdez pulled up right behind them, approaching my car window. Vera, I watched the footage. This is attempted murder of a minor, aggravated assault, and failure to render aid. We have more than enough for arrests. The woman with him? Amber Hartley, my former best friend. His jaw tightened. She's complicit. Accessory after the fact at minimum. We're going in. You can come, but stay behind us. I want to see his face when he realizes he's caught. We approached the front door, which wasn't even locked. The arrogance of it all, thinking they were so safe, so clever. Detective Valdez knocked firmly. Police, open up! Craig's voice came from inside, confused but not worried. Coming. The door opened, and Craig stood there in fresh khakis and a polo shirt, looking every bit the successful suburban husband. His expression shifted from confusion to shock as he saw me standing behind the wall of officers. What's going on, Vera? Why are the police here? Detective Valdez stepped forward. Craig Thompson, you're under arrest for assault of a minor, attempted murder, and child endangerment. What? That's insane! My daughter fell down the stairs. It was an accident. Turn around and put your hands behind your back. Amber appeared in the hallway, wine glass still in hand. When she saw the police, she dropped it, red wine spreading across my hardwood floors like blood. Oh my God, Craig, what's happening? Amber Hartley, you're also under arrest as an accessory after the fact and failure to render aid to a minor in distress. This is crazy, Craig shouted as they cuffed him. Vera, tell them. Melody fell. She's sick. She was dizzy. She tripped. I stepped forward, holding up my phone with the frozen frame of him pushing our daughter clearly visible on the screen. The cameras don't lie, Craig. You pushed our baby down the stairs and left her to die. His face went completely white, all the blood draining away. What cameras? The ones I installed last month when you were in Vegas. Every second is recorded, every single second. The affair, Melody catching you, you chasing her, pushing her, and then running away while she lay there bleeding. Vera, please, we can talk about this. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. Like what, Craig? You weren't supposed to get caught? Or you weren't supposed to nearly kill our daughter? Amber started sobbing hysterically. Vera, I'm so sorry. He said you two were getting divorced. He said you'd already separated emotionally, that you were just staying together for Melody. Save it for court, Amber. You heard my baby screaming and you ran. You left a child broken at the bottom of the stairs so you could save yourselves. As they led Craig past me, he tried one more time. Vera, please, I love you. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You tried to kill our daughter. The police cars pulled away with both of them in custody, and I stood in my doorway looking at the wine stain on my floor, the last remnant of their celebration while my daughter fought for her life. Craig got 12 years for attempted murder and child endangerment. The prosecutor said the video evidence made it the easiest conviction of her career. The footage showed clear intent when he pushed Melody, not the accidental shove his lawyer tried to argue. The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours. When they read the verdict, Craig broke down sobbing, but I felt nothing. He'd made his choice the moment he put his hands on our daughter. Amber got 3 years as an accessory after the fact and failure to render aid to a minor. The judge called them both despicable human beings who put their affair above a child's life. During sentencing, the judge specifically mentioned how they'd stood at the top of those stairs, made the decision to leave, and walked past my injured daughter without even checking if she was breathing. That level of callousness, he said, deserves no mercy from this court. The divorce was finalized while Craig was in county jail awaiting transfer to state prison. I got everything: the house, the savings, full custody of Melody. His real estate license was revoked. His family disowned him completely. His mother called me crying, apologizing over and over, saying she'd raised him better than this. I believed her. Sometimes people become monsters despite their upbringing, not because of it. Melody's physical recovery took 4 months. 3 surgeries on her arm, physical therapy twice a week, and countless follow-up appointments. But she never complained. The emotional recovery took longer. She had nightmares about falling, about footsteps on stairs. She couldn't be in a room with the door closed. Trust became a foreign concept to her. We sold the house 6 months later. Too many memories, too much pain embedded in those walls. Every time I walked past those stairs, I saw my baby falling. We found a single-story ranch across town, smaller but perfect for just the 2 of us. Melody picked the paint colors for her new room, purple walls with silver accents. She said it felt like starting over. Therapy helped both of us. Melody's therapist specialized in trauma from family violence. She taught Melody that what happened wasn't her fault, that she'd been brave to tell the truth. My therapist helped me process the betrayal, the guilt of not seeing the signs, the rage that sometimes felt like it would consume me. "You saved your daughter," she reminded me repeatedly. "Focus on that." A year later, Melody testified at both trials. She looked her father straight in the eye and described the fear she felt when he chased her up those stairs. "I thought my dad would protect me from anyone," she said, her voice steady despite her tears. "I never thought I'd need protection from him." Craig tried to mouth, "I'm sorry," to her, but she turned away. She was done with his apologies. Mrs. Chen became like family to us. She visited Melody in the hospital every day, bringing homemade soup and puzzle books. She testified at trial about seeing the cars flee. "In my 68 years," she told the jury, "I've never seen such cowardice." She still checks on us weekly, bringing cookies and gossip from the old neighborhood. Melody is thriving now, 2 years later. She made first chair violin in the school orchestra. She's dating a sweet boy named Marcus, who treats her with respect and kindness. She wants to become a prosecutor, she says, to help other kids who've been hurt by people who should have protected them. Her college essays write themselves with her story of survival and resilience. I learned something valuable through this nightmare. Trust your instincts, but also verify. That security system I installed on a whim didn't just save my daughter's case, it probably saved her life. Without that footage, it would have been Craig's word against an injured teenager's. How many children aren't believed? How many never get justice? But more importantly, I learned that healing isn't linear. Some days, Melody and I are perfectly fine, laughing at silly TV shows and burning dinner together. Other days, a sound or smell brings it all back. We've learned to ride those waves together, to hold each other through the storms. Last week, Melody graduated high school with honors. As she walked across that stage, confident and radiant, I thought about the broken girl in the hospital bed who'd been so afraid I wouldn't believe her. Craig wrote asking for a photo of her graduation. I sent him nothing. He lost the right to her milestones when he chose violence. We're building a beautiful life from the ashes of betrayal. Melody starts college in the fall with a full scholarship. I'm dating again, slowly, carefully, with someone who understands our journey. The future feels bright and possible in ways I couldn't have imagined 2 years ago. Sometimes the worst moments of our lives become the catalysts for our greatest strength. We survived, we healed, we won. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and share it. Your support helps these important stories reach others who might need to hear them. Comment below with your thoughts and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more powerful, real-life stories of survival and triumph. Thank you for listening to our journey.